Hi guys, so in this video we are going to start off from where we left off in part 2. So we got the van finished at the end of part 2 and now we're going to get on to the front and the rear bumper. So for these, obviously we're doing these in the same Nardo grey 2K gloss that we did the lower half of the van in. And then once we've got these on, we can start getting the van rebuilt a little bit. Now in this video we've got the bumper stage here. We've got some powder coating work, and also we've got the final reveal on the van, as well as a little bit of a chat with Lewis, the owner of this van, a little later in the video. So before we get too far into this video, I want to give a little bit of a shout out to a young lad called Reese that I met a few weeks ago when he came down with his dad to my workshop. Reese is a very keen young lad. They're currently doing up a Toyota Land Cruiser with his dad, and he was very interested in the paint and the body side of things that we do. It very much reminded me of when I was younger, doing the same sort of thing with my dad and learning along with my dad when I was a kid. And as I said, when lockdown is over, Reese, if you want to come down and spend a day with me in the spray booth free of charge to gain a bit of knowledge and spend a bit of one-on-one time getting a bit of hands-on work done in a spray booth, then just get your dad to drop me a message on Facebook and we'll get that sorted out for you. And I have to say, it is good to see that we've still got young lads like Reese that want to come into this industry. It doesn't seem to be such a desirable job as it used to be to a lot of people. But for myself, I was always taught at a young age that, you want to get a trade behind your back. I myself became an agriculture engineer before I got into spray painting, so I've always got a trade to fall back on. And seeing young lads that still want to get into some sort of trade like this that's hands-on is really nice to see these days. So as for the job at hand, we're going to give these bumpers, the same as we did with the van, we're going to give this 3 full wet coats, making especially sure that we get around all these edges and everything as we're going. Now again, I'm not really trying to concentrate too much on finish, because as I said in part 2, we're going for a full wet, flat and polish on this van when it's done, to give it that more show van kind of look for Lewis the customer, because the main time that he uses this is to go into shows or go into the bike racing and stuff like that. So they want it looking nice, they don't want it just looking like your everyday camper van. And I have to say, if you wait till near the end of the video and see the final shots of this van, I think we definitely achieved that sort of show look to this van. And with this colour scheme, it was a really nice sort of clash of colours, but not too much, because quite often you see on these camper vans that they're like a really, really bright, like a bright orange or a bright green or something like that. And the grey and the silver just contrast nicely against each other without being too much of an overly in-your-face clash of colours, which to me gives this van a really nice, sleek look. And once you see it finished at the end, you will see just how well this van came together. And I have to say, from my personal point of view, I was really happy with how this van's come out. I think it's a really nice looking van, and it's a million miles away from the van that it came in. And it's exactly, as far as Lewis said, what the customer wanted, which again is all I can ask for as a business owner, to give the customer exactly what they want from the job that they come to us, and the sort of description of what they want from the van when it's finished. So spray gun wise, I'm using my custom Segola 4600 DVR Clear. It's got a 1.3 XL setup in it, so I have left this 2K gloss quite thick. I want to put on 3 really good solid coats. The first coat's going down that tiny bit lighter, and then the 2 that followed would be like really full heavy wet coats that were going on top. And the main reason for that more than anything is that I can get that nice build, which will give me plenty of room then to flatten polish, to give us that nice glassy finish on this van at the end of it. So it is really more of a concentration on build rather than finish, but being 3 really good wet coats, you do end up with quite a flat finish. So you've got, even though you're going to give it a full flat to give it that nice like 0 orange peel finish over the van, I've got very little flatting to do, even though technically it's a large area, because there'll only be a small amount of peel that'll actually need to be flattened out of the van. And I know a lot of you guys have followed along in this series, and I hope you have liked this series. I'm going to try and start doing slightly more in-depth videos, a bit like the Range Rover video that we just put up recently, but try and make that on jobs like this as well, so they might break up into slightly larger, more parts, but slightly more detailed parts as we go along. And according to YouTube, apparently only 22% of you guys that are watching are subscribed. So if you wouldn't mind, my aim for this year is to try and hit the 50 or even 100,000 subscriber mark, if that's possible. And that's only possible for me to do if you guys all hit that subscribe button. So just take a second for me, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified of when we've got a new upload. And if you enjoy the content that we're making and what we're showing you guys, then please give the video a like as well. As all those subscriptions, those likes, those comments and all that engagement that you guys give towards the videos are what helps us be promoted a little bit more in the YouTube algorithm and get out there to more viewers. And obviously the more viewers we get out there to, the better the channel will grow, and hopefully we can hit that 50 or 100,000 subscriber mark later this year. Now, another little job we did on Lewis's van was to tint the rear tail lights. So these lights have been prepped up with a P800, they've all been sanded back to a nice matte finish. Now, even though they are plastic, we are not using a plastic adhesion promoter, as that can quite often cause some issues. Now, as far as actually smoking rear lights like this goes, what I've got is I've got some clear coat in this little minigun, and we've got it mixed up with around about, I'd say probably around about 60% clear coat and then around 40% 2K black. We've then mixed that up 2 to 1 with hardener and then added 10% thinners. Now the key to this is to not mix it too strong and just build this up in light coats. So on these particular lights I used 3 full wet coats to give me the desired amount of smoked look that I was looking for on these rear tail lights. That would be just enough to give it that nice smoked look, but not too much that, number one, you're going to make the rear lights illegal, or two, that you're going to dim these lights down too much so that obviously people can't see the light itself. To me, you want that look that we've got just there, which you can see the light clearly through it, but obviously as you can see now between the two lights, that's got a nice smoke tint. It's just enough, but it's not too much. So it keeps everything nice and legal for the van owner, and obviously it's a cheap, cost-effective way of actually smoking the rear tail lights, as opposed to Lewis going out spending like £150 on a proper set. And even if you get a little bit of orange peel in these, obviously this being clear coat, we can flat and polish these the same as anything else. So as some of you know, we did actually open a powder coating business late last year with my business partner here, who's doing the wheels, Mick. These are the wheels for Lewis's van that we did in a prismatic colour that we imported from the States for him, called prismatic rootbeer. And I have to say, Mick absolutely nailed these wheels. They really did set off the final look of this van once it was finished. Lewis chose this colour himself, and we had it specially imported from the US for him. And I have to say, as much as it was an expensive colour, it was definitely the right sort of choice colour for this van to give it that final look that it really needed. And I also want to give out a little shout out to Dan Chambers. He's a fellow UK YouTuber who is doing YouTube full time. So I'd appreciate it if you guys would pop over to his channel. I will leave a link in the description and check out some of his videos. He does a lot of cool projects that he's been working through, and he's got very sort of detailed and long series on the cars that he's doing. And it'd be great if you guys could pop over and take a look at his channel and give him a subscribe and a like. I really do think that my viewers would enjoy his content as well. Okay guys, so I think it's about time we gave you a little bit of a look at the finished van. And once we've had a quick look at the finished van, we'll have a quick chat with Lewis to see what he thinks about his van.
Rages around like an ocean in my head. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, know I'll find you.
So in part 2 we said that we were going to get Lewis down, the customer of this van, who's had this van done with us, to give his thoughts on what he's had done and the process of going through a job like this. So Lewis, how do you feel about your van now it's all done and dusted?
Now it's complete, it is absolutely amazing. The finish is unreal, it's absolutely beautiful. Really impressed with it.
So Lewis, when you came to us with the van, what was it that you wanted from us as far as your van went and the paint job?
Well, basically I wanted the van to look, well, a lot newer than what it is, because with it being a 2005 and nearly 200,000 miles on it, it was starting to look a little bit tired. So I wanted to go for a sort of a more up-to-date look, but without having to do a front-end facelift conversion. So hopefully, by choosing these colours, I think
it's definitely something. It's definitely something that's different compared to what the van's out there.
Oh yeah.
Because Lewis has gone for like the standard silver on the top half, and then we've used the grey on the bottom half, and the two colours really contrast just enough against each other, but also I think like you wanted to really facelift it to make it look like a lot newer of a van. And then Lewis chose this prismatic powders colour for his wheels, which again is like quite a bold contrast but really suits the colour scheme of the van, which I'm happy with the way it's turned out, and hopefully you are as well, Lewis.
Yeah, it's excellent.
So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little extra snippet into the video, and also a little bit of an interview with a customer to see what their experience was like of having a job done with us. So that's it for me for today, and I'll see you again soon for the next video.
Can you hear the sound? Can't stop us now. We're not back in town, know what we're doing. Things are about to change, it's evolution. Voices shake the ground, you feel it moving. We're the revolution. Can you hear the sound?